Thank you for a really engaging keynote, which has given me very little questions that I can actually ask you because you've told us all. But as one of the members of the original team of Game4change and now moving careers and coming back as a presenter, have you got any thoughts you'd like to share on the project and how it's developed from when you were in it to what you see now?
So what I noticed mostly from the time that I was in it up until the moment how it's developed right now, I guess the main important takeaway, that I see, the most important thing is how passionate all these people engaged in trying to find a different form of education that adjusts and fits better to what learners need and gives us more room to experiment and to play and to move away from all these traditional educational concepts. And I think that's very impressive to have seen, and all this dedication and energy that these people put into it from the moment that we started up until how it's developed now. And I think what I liked most is that for all these people, their perspectives on education and on learning will have changed, and I really think for the better due to the content that they have engaged with.
You told us quite a few things obviously in your presentation, but what for you, in a nutshell, are the main benefits that you associate with using gamification or games, playful learning within education?
So the most important things that I see when employing gamification elements into education is that you can really create these learning environments where we can provide students with meaningful experiences and trigger memories and create events for them that will really help them change their behavior. And in the end, that's what learning is. A change in behavior or in capacity and capability, and they move forward with that change. And I think gamification and using playful elements in learning can really help to achieve that.
So do you have any advice for educators that are considering using gamification techniques in their classrooms or in their universities?
So my advice for educators that want to employ gamification techniques and playful learning elements is really that what are you trying to achieve and what is the emotional layer on top of it? So playful elements just used on itself is just an activity. It doesn't necessarily help learning, but what do you really want to achieve? What do you want to confront your students with? Which triggers do you want to push so they can really engage on deeper levels, emotionally as well as capability? And my advice would always be to also focus on that, not just using gamification for the sake of gamification, but what is the higher level that you want to achieve. So try to zoom out on that level.
Now, our project's about entrepreneurship education, but would you say that there are any specific industries or areas of study that gamification is most suited to, or not?
Even though the focus has been on entrepreneurship, I do think that the areas that would benefit the most from gamification and playful learning elements is basically everything that deals with leadership. So if everything that forces you into a role that moves away from just knowledge and skill, but where you have to develop skills like empathy, like the regulating of your emotions, you have to have eye for others, you have to be so much more than just a person with a certain knowledge or skill set. I think gamification will really benefit anything that focuses on leadership skills, which, let's be honest, is basically everything.
Are there any particular trends or innovations in gamification that particularly excite you at the moment?
That's a good question. Well, I guess the trends in gamification that really excite me are because of technology, and our easier access to technology for lower price standards, helps us create this really immersive experiences where we can also create systems that give feedback instantly. The use of VR and choices in those contexts, the use of augmented reality, the very easy access to tracking scanners and sensors, so we can really see how someone behaves, and then we can have the system give immediate feedback. And that's the best way for students to learn, because you don't just have to tell them what they did from your perspective, but you can actually show them based on data that you get back. And I think that's really exciting that we've got such easy access to that.
Is there anything that when you go back to your everyday work you'll do differently as a result of being part of this project or being part of this conference?
Yeah, I will keep engaging in the discussion that we're also at this moment in an education transition. Just as we are in business context or in entrepreneurship, we always discuss transitions, the transition to a new economy, the transition to a better earth, but education is in such transition as well. And I think gamification and insights that the talks that I had on this conference will only strengthen my resolve to keep engaging in that conversation.
Probably answered this anyway, but what are your key takeaways from this event?
My key takeaways from the event would be to keep enabling others, so they can keep learning together.
And what's your overall impression of the conference?
My overall impression of the conference is I loved it. There are so many enthusiastic and energetic people. For me, as being part of the project, of course, was also to reconnect a bit with people I hadn't seen in a while. It's great to see those people that I would always encounter at other conferences, to now just engage with them again, to see where they're at in their lives. But also in terms of the content, the offers that were given during the workshop was really great, and also to see how much time and effort and thoughts people put into that. And it's just great to see where the entire project eventually ended up at.